Here's some hockey news for you. Auston Matthews, who's projected to be the #1 overall pick in the 2016 NHL entry draft, is taking his talents to Switzerland next year. The American-born center was expected to play with the WHL's Everett Silvertips next season, but instead opted to sign a one-year deal with the ZSC Lions in the Swiss National League. He's going to play professionally as an 18-year-old.
Interesting story. Auston Matthews, top prospect.
Yeah, could be #1 pick next year. Yep.
Has decided to play professionally in Switzerland instead of playing in the NCAA or junior. Is this a trend that we might see develop over the years?
You know, I'm curious about it because we saw it happen in the NBA a few years ago with Brandon Jennings.
Yeah.
And a kid named Jeremy Tyler went to Israel.
Yeah, and it hasn't worked. Well, it didn't work out for Tyler, pardon me. And Brandon Jennings, it worked out. However, you know, when you look at it from a game-by-game statistical standpoint, from a minutes played standpoint, that aspect of it didn't work out.
But, you know, Bob, I think that everyone's going to be watching. I mean, the kid's apparently going to make $400K next year. If he's successful at it, I can certainly see a lot more kids trying it.
I don't think so. And I go back to you're now playing. You're going to be 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing against men, and not only that, but you're going to be playing for a coach that wants things done a certain way. I mean, that to me would be the part of it from a development standpoint. I understand that you're going to make $400,000, but Auston Matthews, by all accounts, is going to make a lot of money in his career if he stays healthy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who is his coach?
Mark Crawford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark Crawford. And how is he going to be used? That, to me, is extremely important from a development standpoint.
I would bet they've been discussing this for a while, and the issue was clearing, the immigration issues into Switzerland. I have no doubt all of that stuff has been handled.
It wasn't with Brandon Jennings.
Yeah, that could be true. I mean,
it
that's
wasn't.
the difference. I'm sure all that stuff has been discussed.
But if this guy is a potential #1 pick, and let's not go any further than that.
Yep.
Let's just put him in the conversation.
Yep.
Could he substantially hurt himself by being that far away out of the mainstream? These people in hockey are a bunch of robots. They only know one way to do things. Go to a junior game, look at the kid, make an evaluation.
Initially, I thought that it was a move that he was at least talking about in order to hopefully force a trade from Everett, which we saw with Popeye Jones's son, Seth Jones.
Yeah.
Did not. The decision was, do I go to North Dakota or do I play for Everett? And at that time, he didn't really want to go to North Dakota and didn't want to play for Everett, and ultimately a trade with the Portland Winterhawks. So initially I thought, well, maybe this is that scenario once again, but clearly it isn't. And you wonder if you're sitting there, if you're Everett, if you're not picking up the phone saying, hey, look at, where do you want to go? And let's make this happen so I can get some draft picks, headed back my way.
I think there was a lot of pressure behind the scenes on Everett. I think there were, he said publicly, this is not about getting traded from Everett. It's about something different.
Yep.
And
what's the something different? Making money.
Well, yeah, and going to Switzerland, absolutely. But Bob, I think this day and age, you got a lot of international scouts. Yeah. People are going to go watch this guy. I can't tell you how many kids.
I guess, but the quality of competition, they're going to have to try and weigh the apple versus the orange.
I don't think
I'd be. Boy, I'll tell you, it's money now, but
is it that much inferior because you are playing against men than it is playing NCAA hockey?
Knows?
And that's not
who knows?
Don't get me wrong. That's not a diss against the NCAA.
But what is the difference? Talk to 10 people, and they'll give you 10 different answers.
The one thing I would say to Elliot's point is that maybe 10 to 15 years ago, when the staffs weren't as big, when the technology wasn't there, that maybe it would be a problem. But right now, the entire Europe is scouted so thoroughly that I think it's not going to be an issue.
We'll have this conversation a year from now if I invite any of you back. For Friedman, Zeisberger, and Devlin McCown, have a nice weekend. Enjoy the ball game. What a weekend. Good night from Toronto.